What a cool tune that is, huh? It takes us back to the 20s. That's a little bit of 20s jazz that we're playing right there. And that particular tune, let me see if I can find out what the name of that tune was. Because I know I'm probably going to get asked that at least a dozen times. It's such a cool song. Is Darktown Strutter's Ball. I'm not making that up. Darktown Strutter's Ball. Wow, they had some cool titles back then, didn't they? So what we have in front of us right here is obviously a Singer 66 RedEye. I'm going to come out on this shot a little bit, and then we'll take a look at these sew-offs that we just did in the introduction to this premiere. So this particular machine carries a serial number of AA167390, and if you look it up, you're going to find out that this machine that has luster and glitz and glamour, just like the 1920s, is actually a machine that was born on December 16th, 1924. And in this production series, there were only 35,000 of them made. So a fairly small production size, especially for the Class 66 style machine. The 66 was one that was just off the charts when it came to the number of models that they produced. They just produced them like there was no tomorrow. And so they're so prevalent. Even today, you find them all over the place. Probably not looking quite as gorgeous as this one, which, by the way, has original paint and original decals. These are not replacement decals. These are original, and so is the paint as well. And I haven't clear coated it. I just polished it up a little bit, cleaned it up a little bit, and this is the same machine you would have seen several weeks ago when I did that test sew-off on the biothane that was sent to me for the first time sewing it on this channel. And this machine, as you might remember, out of the other two machines that it sewed this biothane with, just knocked it out of the ballpark when it came to delivering on, giving just a beautiful stitch and being able to get through the material as well. So a little bit of a history on this machine that has been so prevalent going back to the early 1900s all the way to the present. So the Singer 66 RedEye, after its success abroad, the factory in Kilbowie, Scotland was retooled, and in 1907 the first all-British Singer Model 66 sewing machines hit the market. The 66 used the smooth oscillating hook. The hook mounted horizontally allowed the bobbin to be simply dropped into the machine. Really a nice feature on the 66 in that you just slide that little door open right over here. You just slide that door open and you have access immediately to that bobbin as far as putting another bobbin in or otherwise. And you'll notice in this one right now I actually have a plastic bobbin. That's the beauty of the 66, is you can go back and forth between plastic and or metal. Everyone has their preference, and depending on the type of sewing you're doing, you might actually get different outcomes on using plastic versus metal. So this particular machine, I failed to mention up to this point, it is for sale. And it's absolutely spectacular. I love as well that you can kind of go off the grid with this machine. It's got a Singer style hand crank on the big spoked wheel, and you would be amazed if you were to be in the workshop right now and I were to say, go ahead and sit down at the workbench and give that a turn. It's so effortless. After I've restored this 66, you can turn it with one finger if you wanted to. It's that easy to turn it. And you may have noticed when I was launching into the second sew-off, I believe, I lost my bearing and I started to crank it the wrong direction, then quickly recovered and started going forward again. But it's very forgiving as well when it comes to goofing up like that and still getting just an absolutely spectacular stitch. And speaking of spectacular stitch, let me go ahead and zoom back down to the presser foot again, and I'm going to show you these stitches we just did a little bit closer, and then we'll launch into a couple of other sew-offs and enjoy some more 1920s jazz style music. So first thing I have to do, if you know me at all, is I got to clean these up a little bit as far as clipping the threads on them. I wanted to try to get through at least 2 sew-offs in the introduction to this premiere, and the only way I could do that was to just kind of sew them off and then throw them to the side. But here you can see basically we have 3 layers of full grain leather right here. 3 layers. You can see it from the side. If I pinch it down a little bit, you're going to be able to really get an impression of how thick that is. We're talking about 12 to 14 ounces of leather, and not just any leather. We're talking full grain leather. This is actually protected full grain leather, which means the way they processed it, it is practically bulletproof. It's really made for the rugged applications that you would use it for. Very popular in making gun holsters, very popular in making other durable goods that are really going to get put under the gun when it comes to people wearing them and just abusing them literally. So we went through 3 layers of this on this 66 RedEye just absolutely effortlessly once I started sewing the correct direction, that is. And we actually opened it before that with a single layer of this protected full grain leather, and that was almost embarrassing. It was so easy for this 66 RedEye. And you can see as well as we look at the stitch quality from start to finish, the spacing, the formation, it just doesn't get any better than that. And the same thing on the lock stitch. Even in spite of that nap and that grain of that leather, you can just see those beautiful lock stitches popping through. And even this by itself is no small task. You're probably talking around 3 ounces of full grain leather, protected full grain leather. And again, it wasn't even a challenge for this RedEye from the 1920s. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to challenge this RedEye, this Model 66, in this premiere, to be honest with you, but we're going to give it a try, and I'll put on a little bit more 1920s style jazz / blues, and this is called Honky Tonkin'. Honky Tonkin'. It's starting out kind of mild for Honky Tonkin'. I expected something like, whoa, go get it. Turn this up a little bit, it's kind of softer. Alright, so let's do a little bit of genuine cowhide now. You can see this stuff just based on the nap on both sides. This is not easy stuff to get through. And we're going to try 3 layers on this as well. So I'm going to give it a fold, and we're up to 2 layers, and I'm going to give it 1 more fold, and we're all the way up to 3 layers of this genuine cowhide. And you're going to notice as well when we sew on this 66 RedEye hand crank, there is so much clearance underneath that presser foot, it's absolutely crazy. So I'm going to get this in place. Hopefully I can remember to sew the correct direction this time. Otherwise, the beauty of the 66, especially after I restored it, it'll forgive me. It'll forgive me for sure. Alright, here we go. 3 layers of this genuine cowhide. Here we go. There, I got her going now. I could go faster, by the way. If some of you are in the background going, faster, 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 I could really crank this puppy up if I wanted to. Maybe I'll do 1 more strip down and just show you what I'm talking about. Although the music really doesn't fit it, you know what I mean? Taking it a little bit slower, a little bit more mellow is almost the real deal here. But let me clip these threads first. I will show you these stitches, and then we'll go ahead and zip down it 1 more time. Alright, so there's our stitch right there on top. Actually, no, this is our top stitch right here. And you can see it's absolutely spot on in every way. The spacing, the formation of those stitches from this Handcrank 66 RedEye are absolutely spectacular. And as we turn it over and look at the lock stitch, it's just as absolutely gorgeous. It's drop dead gorgeous, it really is. And look at again what we sewed. 3 layers of genuine cowhide, just like we did the 3 layers of protected full grain leather. And this Handcrank just makes it look so daggone easy. There wasn't even an effort other than me initially launching as I'm trying to get that Handcrank in motion and manage the material down at the needle as well. Again, I think I'd be a little bit better off if I went with a slightly heavier base, but you know, this base, initially I was a little bit critical of it. It's actually working out pretty doggone good. So I'm not going to say anything more about the base, but if the customer that ends up wanting to purchase this machine really has some major issues with the base, we'll look at some other options. I'm flexible. I'm good. All right, let me put some other jazz on. There were only 2 songs when I searched 1920s jazz. So let's just check some jazz here, because jazz and blues were a real big deal. Many of you might know that back in the 1920s. Jazz and blues, that was the go-to music. So here's another song I'm going to play. Well, actually, I started to play a little bit early there. This is called Blues Infusion. Blues Infusion. Here we go. All right, what we're going to sew off on now, you cool cats out there. That's probably a little bit later, wasn't it? I'm going to do some of this gunny sack material, which you know is, I mean, it's like basically like steel wool. This stuff is hard to get through. And I'm going to start with 2 layers. I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half. We're up to 4 layers. I'm going to go ahead and fold it one more time. And we're up to 8 layers. I'm trying to grip this stuff so I can really show you. There's our 8 layers right there. So, I mean, my machines make this stuff look easy, but don't be fooled, people. Don't be fooled. It ain't easy to get through 8 layers of this gunny sack material. All right, here we go. 8 layers. Gunny sack material. Oh man, my foot's just tapping away. Good thing I'm not operating a foot control. You saw in the opening I had that little cord out there to say, hey, we have to plug it in. Nah, we don't. Here we go. Look at the way it moves it underneath that presser foot too. It just moves it effortlessly. I mean, this machine, you just put some blues on, put some jazz on, and just enjoy. Just enjoy. It's such a pleasure to sew with this Singer Handcrank, this Model 66 RedEye. And look at those stitches as well. I'm pulling them back, folks. Absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. Gorgeous. If we flip it over to that lock stitch, there's nothing different there. You've got an absolutely gorgeous lock stitch as well, and perfectly ended with that jazz piece. All right, I haven't done denim in a long time, and I've had a couple people say that to me. Hey, you don't do denim. Let me put another piece on for us here real quick. Oh goodness, hold on a second. I want to find something kind of upbeat and fun. So that last one I already said, yeah, that was Blues Infusion. Now I'm going to do Jazz Cajun or something like that. Ooh, this is a fun one. This almost has kind of a Mexican Latino type style to it. I like this. All right, so I haven't done denim in a while. Here's some denim. And we're starting with 2 layers. I'm going to go ahead and fold it. And we're up to 4 layers. What I'm going to do is I'm kind of zip down and then zip back a little bit. See if I can do that. This guy's really excited. I'm going to have to turn him back a little bit. All right, here we go. Alright, so this is only 4 layers of denim. Not really even a challenge for this hand crank. So here's our top stitch right here, and I'm just going to leave those threads for right now. Absolutely gorgeous. The spacing, the formation, everything about that stitch is absolutely spot on. If we turn it over, equally gorgeous lock stitch as well. The lock stitch is gorgeous on these 4 layers of denim also. So, I mean, I haven't found anything at all to challenge this Singer 66 RedEye from 1924. It's just everything I put underneath the presser foot. It's not even an effort for this machine. It gets it done so easily. So our next little piece I'm going to play while we're sewing off our final sew off, which is going to be my U.S. Army grade canvas, is called Front Porch Blues. Let's see what this one's about. Got to turn it up a little bit. These kind of go up and down, don't they? I'm liking this. I see a dog on the porch. I see some big glasses of lemonade. You know what I'm talking about. Alright, let's do some U.S. Army grade canvas with this incredible hand crank Singer 66 RedEye. Boy, I wish I could challenge this machine. So here we got 2 layers of U.S. Army grade canvas. Now I'm going to pull a quick one on you. I'm going to fold it this way because it's a lot easier to fold it that way. So 2 layers. We're up to 4 layers. And finally, if I get my fingers working, we fold it again. We're all the way up to 8 layers. That's what 8 layers of U.S. Army grade canvas looks like, folks. Tell me that's an easy task, and I'll tell you that you probably need to work on your truth factor just a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is not an easy task. Well, for this machine it will be. Alright, let's get this done. Presser foot is down. 8 layers. U.S. Army grade canvas. Had to do it. You just gotta snap to this kind of music, you know what I mean? Here we go. Be nice if that were a challenge, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be nice if that were a challenge? I mean, if you just had like that dramatic music and he just like was like, oh, I think I can roll. No. I get done restoring a machine, it's gonna make the impossible look like ordinary. It really will. And there's our top stitch through 8 layers of U.S. Army grade canvas. I challenge anyone to try to produce a more perfect stitch. I don't care if it's a featherweight, I don't care what the machine is. That is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And as we turn it over, I'm going to kind of go like this so you can look again at what we just sewed through absolutely without effort with a hand crank. And there we've got our lock stitch, which is just as spectacular. I kind of have to pull it back a little bit, but that lock stitch on here is just as spectacular as that top stitch. It really is. So I'm going to line these sew-offs up, blah blah blah, if I can talk, and let's take a look at them, because I think that these are break worthy. I don't just say that casually. You know what? You're either going to have a stitch that's break worthy, or you're not going to have a stitch that's break worthy. I mean, that's the way I look at it. There's no middle ground when it comes to stitch quality. I'm going to bring my lights in just a little bit here. And I may not have these in the perfect order, so if you want to send me a note about, hey, you didn't get them in the perfect order, go for it. That's fine. I'm good. I'm fine with that. Alright, and then I did denim, I think. I did denim. Did I do denim? I think so. And then I did gunny sack. Gunny sack material was somewhere in there. I don't remember. I'm just going to stick it in there. It doesn't matter. We did them all. We did a total of six sew-offs, and not a single one of them gave this Singer 66 a challenge. Not a single one of them gave this Singer 66 a challenge. And we're talking, I mean, some pretty hardcore sewing. So I'm going to do, the song I'm going to do now while we're kind of looking at these stitches a little bit closer is called Crazy Blues. All right, let's start on the far left. We'll look at this protected full grain leather first. Gorgeous stitches. Wow. That's a single layer right there. Now underneath the presser foot, we're going to that 3 layers of protected full grain. Now we got our 3 layers of genuine cowhide. And now we're going to be heading over to that U.S. Army grade canvas. 8 layers of that, folks. 8 layers. You can see that from the end there. Holy mackerel. Then we did a little bit of denim, which we don't do too often. We did kind of a little box sewing. Absolutely gorgeous. That was 4 layers, by the way. And then we did this gunny sack material. And that was 8 layers. And this Singer 66 hand crank from 1924, I mean, it was just grooving to the jazz and the blues and saying, man, oh man, why don't you give me a challenge, Scott? Why don't you give me a little bit of a challenge, brother? Well, like I said, I think I said, this 66 RedEye with original paint and original decals is for sale. I got to do that. It just adds a little bit of drama, kind of pausing the music and then jumping back into it again. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take this camera off the tripod and I'm going to go around the machine a little bit more, and then we're going to wrap this premiere up. Again, this machine is for sale, and for those of you that don't, when I just got done selling that Singer 301A black one with the long bed, which by the way sold in about 2 hours following the premiere, and I had a number of people reaching out through a myriad of ways hours later after the premiere, asking about was it still available. They wanted to buy it, and it's gone. It's going to head to Kentucky. I even had a caller that called me from Canada saying exactly the machine I'm looking for. You know, I want to buy it. It was already gone. So the way the process works, let me just explain this real quick, as you're looking at this beautiful 1924 Singer 66 RedEye. The way it works is when I get done restoring a machine, and I've got hundreds of machines in my personal collection that are operational, but I need to finalize them in order to be to a point where I could premiere them. If someone's really looking for a particular machine, you reach out and just say, hey, I'm looking for this machine, or I'm looking for this type of machine to do this kind of sewing, and I will look at my personal collection, and if I've got the right machine, I will match you up with it, just like that. But otherwise, if you see a premiere come up and it says for sale, and it's a machine that right away when you look at it, you're like, oh my goodness, or oh my goodness gravy, as I love to say, that's exactly the machine that I'm looking for. That's exactly the machine that I've been wanting. Reach out right away, either through Facebook Messenger, email me, or call me on my direct line. My direct line again is 920-454-0393. And it's interesting, I talked to a customer just late last night about her machine. She has that featherweight, and she's out of the great state of Georgia. And she said, I was just shocked to hear that you gave out your direct line, your cell phone, to people around the world so they can just call you anytime they want. Well, most people don't do that, although I do get an occasional call from overseas where the time difference of 7 to 8 hours is such that they forget that it's the middle of the night for me, and I've had some interesting conversations then too. So, you know, if you want to have access to me, I love it, but just, you know, be generally mindful and respectful of when you decide to reach out, because while I love my workshop, I actually do leave it sometimes. I really do. So, but again, if you see a machine pop up as a premier machine and you really are eager to find out about it, and you maybe even want to make on the spot an offer to buy it, call me on my direct line. I already gave that number out, because that's exactly what this lady did on a Kentucky. While others were sending messages through YouTube, they were sending messages through Messenger, they were trying to email me, and this lady had seen the premiere and she said, I want it. Tell me what you want, that's what I want to pay. So I told her, she said, yep, I'll do that, and I'll do a little bit more because I know the way you pack it, I know all those different expenses and everything, and I just want to do this right. I want to honor your good work. And the deal was done. And she sent that payment by priority. It's already here. That Singer 301A, the black long bed one, gone. Just like a lot of the machines that I posted recently, they go so quick. So don't assume, please don't assume, if you see a machine like this one right here and you say, you know what, I've been wanting to get a hand crank. I've been wanting to get a hand crank so I can go off the grid, so I could take it camping, I could take it hunting, I could take it out in the woods to our cabin and not need to be worried about the electricity going out and not being able to mend something or sew something. This is a machine you want to look at and take seriously. Like I said, only being in the workshop, turning that hand crank for yourself, could you say, holy cow, did I really just sew 3 layers of protected full grain leather? Did I really just sew 3 layers of genuine cowhide? Did I really just sew 8 layers of U.S. Army grade canvas? Did I really just sew? And it goes on and on and on. You can look on the bed of the machine right there, what we just sewed off effortlessly. This is a machine that you don't want to let get away. And I'm going to price it to go as well, because I just think it's a spectacular machine. And again, how often do you see a machine this drop dead gorgeous with original paint, with original decals? It just doesn't happen. And I have gone through this machine from balance wheel to bobbin, and it is ready to go to work. Well, I've already shown you, I've already demonstrated that on this premiere, how ready to go to work it is. It really is. And I know if Bill is a part of this premiere, he's probably saying, Scott, that is quite honestly literally the perfect machine, except it's not a 66-1. It doesn't mount on the rear, it mounts on the side. But other than that, it's nearly perfect, Scott. Well done, my friend. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. Those of you that are new to this channel, Bill is a fabulous resource. I'm so blessed to have him. He accepted a role on my Facebook business page as a moderator, so he can help me manage all the questions and all the research-based inquiries that we get weekly, and can be a resource and kind of step in. He loves research, and he's so doggone good at it. He makes it look so easy. You know, a person will bring up an obscure machine that, honest to Pete, I've never seen it in my life. I don't even know, I've never heard of that brand. Because there are just that many machines out there that have been made over the last 100+ years. And 10 minutes later, the half page of questions that person inquiring had are all answered. So I just calling out to Bill O'Rourke, use him as a resource. Extremely gifted man, knowledgeable, passionate, and very, very good at finding answers to things. And if he can't find the answer, he's not going to BS you. He'll just say, I can't find it right now, but I'll continue looking and I'll reach back out to you when I find it, if I can find it. Because some questions, quite honestly, they're just really doggone impossible to find. Because a lot of those factories are long gone. and getting answers is sometimes really a challenge. So, all right, blah, 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 blah. All right, I want to give you a closer look at this machine, and I'm going to leave the sew-offs on the bed just for now, so that when I come off the tripod with this camera, I can get a little bit closer. You can look at the stitches a little bit better. I was zoomed in as far as I could go, and put a little bit more bluesy jazz style music on, and then we'll wrap this premiere up. So let's see what I can find here. All right, what is this one? Could do a funky one. All the ones I've been doing are labeled as happy. I'm going to do a funky one just to be totally outrageous. Here we go. Holy mackerel. Wow, I did take it over the top. All right, let's see what we can do here. I hope I don't trip over my garbage can coming up on the machine here. Well, as I said, and that last piece was just horrible in relation to fitting the genre of the 1920s, but just forget that funky piece that I just played, which is a jazzy style, and remember just how amazing this 1924 Singer 66 RedEye just did in sewing all of those different materials off that you see right there in front of the machine. This machine is for sale, and let me encourage you kind of like I just encouraged the other folks that reached out about the 301A black long bed, don't wait. If you say, yeah, definitely, I want to go with a absolutely drop dead gorgeous hand crank like this, I want to have this as something that I can take to my quilting retreat and just make people absolutely drool over what a vintage machine looks like compared to the newer machines that they're all bringing to the quilting retreat, then don't wait and miss out on this one like so many of you did on that Singer 301A black long bed that just sold, and on machines before that as well. Take a moment, reach out, give me a call, say, I want it, how much? And let's get this done so that you can be the envy of everyone in your quilting group, everyone at that quilting retreat, everyone at that quilting expo, everyone in your neighborhood that's in that sewing group and sewing class that you've been going to, just walking up and you're like, could you not drool on my machine? Because that's exactly what they're going to be doing when they look at this beauty. So God bless you guys. Watch for other videos like this on amazing machines from my personal collection that are original owner machines that you can make your own. All right, take care, folks.